Okay, it's ready.
Yeah.
It's recording.
Hi, my name is Natalia Gutierrez. I'm a teaching credential student at National University, and I have to give a lesson on science, and I will be graded on this, so just so you know. Okay, first I'm going to be asked, if I ask you guys some questions, you answer, I'll give you guys a ticket, and you guys, these are used for raffles, and you guys get prizes, so. Okay, so first question I'm going to talk about is cells. First thing I'm going to talk about is cells, and I have a question for you. What's the biggest living thing that you guys can think of?
Human.
Humans, kind of big, but there's things that are a lot bigger. Go ahead.
Oh, well.
Yeah, a whale. A blue whale is probably the largest mammal, largest animal. And I think blue whales can weigh up to like almost 400,000 pounds, and they're almost like 100 feet long. And, but there's something that's even bigger than a blue whale. It's not an animal though. Do you guys know what it is?
Is it a cell?
It's it has cells, yes.
Oh. I don't think.
No.
It's not an animal.
It's not an animal.
Oh.
But
Tree?
Human's heart.
no, it's a human heart's really complex, but it's not the biggest thing. Yeah, you're right. A tree, like the giant sequoia trees, some of them can get like up to 300 feet, and I think the largest one is weighs almost 6 million pounds, and they're huge. Okay. What about the smallest living thing? Do you guys know what the smallest living thing is?
A cell?
Yeah, you're right. A cell, and specifically bacteria cells. Okay. So first, I'm going to talk about the two kinds of cells. There's prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are like bacteria. They're really small. Pro means before, and karyote means nucleus. This means before, and this means nucleus. And then there's also the eukaryotes. And eukaryotes, U means true. And eukaryotes are cells that make up like animals and plants and things like that. Okay, so the reason why they're called prokaryotes is because the DNA of the organism, the bacteria, they're like just floating around in the bacterial cell. And in the eukaryote, here's an example of a generic example of a cell. The DNA, all the genetic info, is enclosed in like a membrane-bound nucleus, so that's why they're called true, because it really has a nucleus. Okay. If you guys look at this handout right here, it says eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell. First I'm going to go over some of the differences. In nucleus, in the eukaryotic cell, they're present. In the prokaryotic cell, it's absent. The cell type, eukaryotic cells, which are plants or animals, they're multicellular, so there's millions and billions of cells that make up the organism. And in prokaryotic cells, it's just one cell. Well, like I said, an example of eukaryotic cell is animal and plants. Well, actually, it's not animal and plant, or it's not a cell. It's made up of millions and billions of little cells to make up an organism. And an example of prokaryotic cell is bacteria. And then I'm going to go over some of the organelles, the structures that are inside the cell. First, there's mitochondria. In eukaryotic cells, there's mitochondria. In prokaryotic cells, there's no mitochondria. And mitochondria is used to make energy for the cell. And then ribosomes, ribosomes make proteins. And eukaryotic cells have ribosomes, large ribosomes, and prokaryotic cells have small ones. And then chloroplasts, which are seen in plant cells, they capture the sun's energy into an energy form that the plant can use, and they're present in eukaryotic cells and absent in prokaryotic cells. And then there's flagella. Some eukaryotic cells have flagella, and prokaryotic cells do have flagella. They're like little tails that help. These are the flagella, and they help with movement. Okay. And the size, eukaryotic cells are 10 to 100 micrometers, and prokaryotic cells are between 1 and 10 micrometers. And do you guys know how big a micrometer is? What about a meter? A meter is about 3 feet. It's like 39 inches, and it's probably about something about this big, this long. And a micrometer is if you were to take a meter and break it into equal lengths, you have 1 million of these. So this is super, like the space right here is super, super tiny. And that's how big a bacteria is. It's 1 millionth of a meter. So they're really, really small. Now, we were talking about bacteria, but going back to prokaryotes, there's two groups of them. One's the archaea bacteria, and they live in extreme environments like in hot sulfur springs or very acidic or salty environments. And then the eubacteria, which is bacteria, is a common bacteria that you find like on your skin, in the soil. So, now I'll go over the main parts of bacteria. There's a cell wall, the cell membrane, the pilus, the flagella, the cytoplasm, the ribosomes, and the DNA. And there's 3 main shapes of bacteria. First one is a bacillus. It's kind of like a little rod shape. And there's a coccus, where it's like a circle, spherical shape. And then there's spirillum, when they're kind of like spiral. So those are the 3 main shapes. Bacillus, coccus, and how do you spell that? And there's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. Some bacteria can make you really sick, like streptococcus. It can give you strep throat. Have any of you guys ever had strep throat before? It's like a really bad bacterial infection. You have a really, really sore throat, and it's very contagious. There's also, it's caused by the streptococcus bacteria. And then also there's lactobacillus. That's a good bacteria. You use it to make cheese and yogurt. Now we're going to go over this handout. Can you guys get this out? And I'll go ahead and read it to you guys. And there's some. Starting from the first paragraph. Prokaryotes are the simplest of all cells. Bacteria are prokaryotes, and they fall into 2 major categories: the kingdom Eubacteria and kingdom Archaea bacteria. Eubacteria are common types that occur all around us. Usually they are on the surfaces and in soil. You can find our bacteria, archaea bacteria, in extreme environments like hot sulfur springs. Our bacteria are thought to be some of the oldest life forms on Earth. Most bacteria don't make their own food. This means they have to rely on other organisms to provide them with food. And the bacteria have to break down or decompose other things in order to get energy. The second paragraph, while most hear the word bacteria, people think of something that's bad for you. In fact, very few bacteria cause illness. Some bacteria actually help you. Bacteria are used to make food such as cheese and yogurt, and they can also help break down harmful substances in the environment. Scientists created a type of bacteria that could gobble up oil from oil spills. Some bacteria live inside the gut of animals and help them digest food. Unfortunately, there are some bacteria that can make us ill. Salmonella bacteria can cause food poisoning, and certain types of bacteria are responsible for other infections. You might have had some experience with streptococcus, the bacteria that causes strep throat. Okay, now we're going to go over again the parts of the cell. Bacteria have a very simple design. Most have a thick outer covering called a cell wall. That is right here, a cell wall. And it helps protect the organism, the bacteria, and it gives it structure. On the picture, okay, there's if you were taking this as home for homework, you guys would be color coding this. So I'm just gonna go read and do it for you guys. On the picture, color the cell wall purple. This is the cell wall. And just within the cell wall is the cell membrane. That is this area right here. And you would be coloring that pink. And along the surface of the bacterial cell, you might encounter structures called pilus, whose job is to help the bacteria stick to surface. And these are the pilus. And you would color all the pilus light green. Bacteria might also need to move around the environment, so they have structures called flagella, which resemble tail. Like I said, these are the flagella. They help with locomotion and movement. And you would color these flagella dark green. And then the watery, this is called the cytoplasm. It's like where all the organelles, they're floating around, and it has a consistency of like jello. And you would color this light blue. And here are the ribosomes, and these are where protein synthesis happens. Proteins are created, and you'd be coloring that blue. And all prokaryotes, like I said before, the DNA is floating around. It's not enclosed in the nucleus. And this is the DNA, and you would be coloring it let's see, yellow. Okay, and now there's some questions. I'm going to have you guys answer, and if you answer, you guys raise your hand, and then when you answer, I'll give you guys a coupon. What bacteria causes strep throat? Okay, you?
Streptococcus.
Yeah. Okay. What are the oldest life forms on Earth? Go ahead.
Trees.
Not the biggest, the oldest.
How old is it?
Yeah, it's in the first paragraph.
Oh.
Do you want to check? Go ahead.
Okay, bacteria.
Archaebacteria, yes, correct. What part of the bacteria cell helps it stick to surfaces? What are these called right here? Okay, go ahead.
Pilus.
Pilus, yes, correct. Good job. Number 5, name 2 foods that bacteria help make. Go ahead.
Yogurt and cheese.
Yes. Okay, number 6, what does decompose mean? Okay, go ahead.
To break down.
Yes. Oh, you're doing good. Thank you. Number 7, what is a control center of the bacterial cell? I may have not gone over this. Okay, go ahead.
The nucleus.
Yes, the nucleus, the DNA and the genetic info is all included in the nucleus. Well, actually, prokaryotes, the bacteria don't have a real nucleus. The DNA is just floating around in here. But that was closer. Okay, number 8. What part of the bacterial cell helps it move? Go ahead.
The flagella.
Yes. Okay, number 9. Where do archaebacteria live? Does anybody know? They live in harsh environments. Okay, go ahead.
Sulfur springs.
Yeah. Good job. Okay, last one. To what kingdom do common bacteria belong? It's in the first paragraph. Remember I told you there's 2 kinds of prokaryotes? Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, let the other student have a chance. What was that? Do you know?
And bacteria.
What was that?
Bacteria. And bacteria.
Eubacteria?
Eubacteria.
Okay. Okay, thank you students for being good students and paying attention and answering all my questions. Thank you.